We were working. We worked in my father's bakery. That's why I know about heavy cream. And we didn't read a lot. And the first book I really read for enjoyment, was The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And I read it when I was 18, and I loved it. And I thought it was like the only book that would be any good. And I think I read that book 3 times. Loved it. And started to read novels and Stephen King and everything else. And when you give somebody a book, you don't give them a pound of paper and ink and glue. You give them a whole new life, a whole new adventure. And it's fantastic. My kids, I started reading to them when they were very, very young. And they have a real appreciation for reading. And there's nothing like that. The Narnia series, which everyone will get, is a fantastic book. Wait a minute, hang on, you didn't applaud for the playing cards. You didn't applaud for the playing cards. I'm wondering... and by the way, if you haven't seen it, you also get in to see Narnia. We're sending you out to see the movie Narnia, which is fantastic. While we're here on books, let me just give you a few books. First of all, I haven't finished this one yet. This is Brad Thor. I'm about, 20 pages from the end. This is spooky. I think this is his best thriller yet. Same can be said for American Assassin by Vince Flynn. Fantastic. Have you read this one yet? It's great. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Great book. These are the traditional, if you don't have these 3 books, please get them. The 5,000-Year Leap, The Real George Washington. This comes with The Real George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, but the Washington is an absolute must. And Winners Never Cheat by my good friend John Huntsman. Has anybody read this book yet? This book is, this will make you believe in the free market system again. This will show you, this is what we're lacking in life. We are lacking real examples. That's what George Washington was about. That's why the progressive movement had to destroy our founders, because we believed in them. We believed in them. We believed that it could be done. We believed that men could be decent. And we've destroyed all of our heroes. Destroyed them all. And so, well, nobody's ever really been that way. It's not really like that. Oh, it's Hollywood. I happen to believe in Bedford Falls. I happen to believe in It's a Wonderful Life and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I believe in those people. I believe they exist. They not only existed then, they exist today. I don't think Norman Rockwell was that great of a painter. He had to see, maybe it was the best in people, but he did see it. This is today a man who has lived his life ethically and has done it. And it's important to share it with each other. We'll get back to some of the other things that can change your life and some of the things that are special about Christmas coming up in just a second. All right. Welcome back to it's my favorite things. These are different ideas that you can get for Christmas, and these are, I can't say that because we're a news program, I'm not supposed to say who makes these things. That's why I put it up at glennbeck.com if you want to know. This is the best. Anybody like toffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, pass this around. This is the best toffee ever made. This is... Anybody in my family who loves me? Is that unbelievable? That is great, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, anybody in my family who loves me gets me that. My wife says, "Who are the people who want you to die?" I'm like, "Honey, we're all going to die soon anyway." I might as well go out with toffee in my mouth. It's like Dr. Atkins. You know, when he fell down the stairs, he fell down the stairs and hit his head? I'll guarantee you the last thing that went through his mind was, I should have had the cake. Speaking of cake, great book. I love this guy's show. Do you like him? Yes. He tried to cancel his taping today to be here with us. Aww. He sends his regrets. He couldn't do it. But he sent each of you Cupcakes. I've eaten them all, but there you can share that one. I want to show you a couple of other books, because books play such an important. Which camera are we up to? Yeah, books play such an important role in my life, and since it's my show, I just want to. I urge you to buy books whenever you can. Original sources. If you can go to a store, and they are not expensive. They are not expensive. If you can go to a store, if you're looking for a history book, try to get something prior to 1920. They're not expensive. I'm see if this even has a price on it. I mean, some of these things are like $5, and you can go. But history is just not told. Once you start getting the progressive movement in it, it's all distorted. A history book prior to, I think, 1955, 1960 is as far. I mean, once you pass that point, then it all starts to become. And Karl Marx isn't so bad. But there's some other books. This is a printing of mine. I didn't do it through Simon & Schuster, so this is just mine. And I actually made this for my children, and then we decided to print, I don't know, 25,000 copies. And so when this is gone, it's gone. But this is actually for my children. It's the 828 book. And it was a scrapbook that I made for my children. And it's my week of preparing 828. And it is all the behind-the-scenes stuff and my notes to my children. I love this picture. These two pictures. This is me and my wife backstage right before I went on. And this is me and my son. But you are each going to get a copy of this. And that's available. That's available. Only a few copies left of that. That's available at glennbeck.com. There's also another book that I found, and I think this is like $3. And this is, if you don't have, oh wow, and they're all signed by the author too. This is something, this is $7.95. This book will change your Christmases. If you buy this book and read it as a family, it's called The Christmas Jars. If you read this as a family over several nights, your perspective on Christmas will change. And you will start a new tradition that we started in my family, the Christmas jar. And it was easy for me to do it in my family because we have the mason jars from canning. And what you do is you each have a mason jar and you put your change in it all year round. You just keep filling the mason jars. And then at the end of the year, at Christmas, you take and you deliver these jars, and you'll be surprised how much change you accumulate over the year. And you take these jars and you leave them with your kids. We go out in the middle of the night, and it is fantastic. Because when the kids were really little, man, they love this. You go out in the middle of the night, and they like, especially, you know, if you have boys, they're like spies all of a sudden. And they go out, and they're Christmas undercover guys, and they go and they deliver without a note on who it's from or anything, and you just put it on the doorstep. And we usually do it a few days before Christmas, and it helps. I know it's not a lot, but you know, if you're in a position where you can add a few dollars to the change on top of it, it can actually change people's holiday. I'll never forget when the first year we did this, it was a family in church, and they were really having a hard time. And the father got up on Christmas, and he started to cry. And he talked about how somebody, he didn't know who, had left some stuff, and it was an answer to a prayer for he and his wife. And the kids just beamed, just beamed. It will help you teach the kids the real meaning of Christmas. And this is also another book that the author wrote, Jason Rye, Penny's Christmas Miracle. And it's just a fantastic story and a great tradition to start with your family. When we come back, a couple of other things that I want to share with you, and I'd like the audience to share some of the things that maybe they do that doesn't cost anything, that kind of maybe they remember as kids, that they still carry on today. And one of the toughest Christmases that I had, and how it ended, and how it is one of the has become one of the real bright spots in our family. And it started out as the toughest Christmas ever. And we'll do that next. All right. So sure Oprah gives her audience, you know, cars and stuff. But they got books and chalk. Yeah. And yes, I can. T-shirt. And the best rice pudding, I think, that is available in, I can't say the name of it, but you can go to glennbeck.com and find out what the name might be. But also, there's we went through the books. We went through this, of course, is going to be available. I also want to tell you that one of the other things that my family and we love to do is we like to go and see my daughter. I mean, she had to pull almost all of my teeth out to get me to go. She took me to an opera here in New York. And has anybody gone to an opera ever before? Oh, you're saying this with smiles on your face. I don't believe you've ever gone. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Everything you thought it would be like, it's like that times 10. It's a nightmare. Who's moaning? Who's moaning? Who said, oh, no, it isn't? Yeah, get out. Get out. My daughters and I, we go because when they were very, very young, I would take them to different plays, and we try to explain, you know, different things to them and show different things and get different experiences, and some of which they hated and others they didn't. And now every year, Dad has to take them to a different show, and so they pick a show. One that we saw, and I don't know if anybody here in New York has seen this yet, Billy Elliot, the musical. Oh, it's unbelievable. A warning, they trash Margaret Thatcher, and it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. But the great thing is, there are hidden conservatives in the cast. Yes. And so we're going to send all of you to Billy Elliot. There's a kid in Billy Elliot that is melt your eyes amazing. You bring your kids there and show the talent that, and if you apply yourself, what you are capable of doing, it's unbelievable. I want to show you, this is a gift that my daughter gave me, and it's not Christmas, but I was having a tough time, and she called me up one day and she said, Dad, how you doing? And I said, I'm having a tough week. And she said, well, can I come home with you this weekend? And I said, sure. And so I picked her up, and she gave me a CD, and she said, Dad, it's songs that I thought you should hear, and they're all words that make me think of you, or make me think that they're words that you need to hear. And it was one of the kindest things anyone has done, because I knew she took the time to do it. She didn't go to a store and buy it. A friend of mine told me, I told him that story, and he said, you know what I got for Christmas one year? He said, my daughters all got together, and they made a CD together. And then each of them said, and they recorded before the song, Dad, I picked this song because it reminds me of this particular time in our life when you did X, Y, or Z. And they played the song. He said, whenever I'm down, whenever I'm feeling like I haven't done my job, or the world's upside down or something, he said, I pop this CD in and the world is right.